How should farmers prepare for potential price validity and supply chain challenges?
The conversation needs to be had with the local retailer, whoever your supplier is. And I don't care who that person is, but whoever you rely on for your product, need to be having that conversation sooner than later. Because to your point, raising it from 92 to an absolute stress case scenario of 96 in the first 30 to 45 days of the calendar year, we're running out of time. From a phosphate, potash, and hydrous perspective, we could be putting those on the field in March.
Hello and welcome to Illinois Corn TV. My name is Lyndi Allen. I am the Public Affairs and Communications Manager here at Illinois Corn. And today I am joined with Vice President of Fertilizer, Josh Linville from StoneX. Thank you for joining us today, Josh.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
Yes. So let's jump into some questions. What is the reason for high nitrogen values?
So this is a story that's really been building globally, not just domestically, but globally since about the fourth quarter of last year. This is something we kind of lose sight of is that fertilizer is still a very world priced marketplace. And so what we've been watching around the world, it's multiple factors. Number one, the most prevailing is Europe. Natural gas prices there are extremely high versus what they would normally be. And their production rates have only been about 75% of normal. Fortunately, that's been very steady. Unfortunately, we're starting to see those values rise even more on the gas side, and we're scared we're going to lose more production. And when you start to think about it, that's about 3.5 million tons of urea production, 2 million tons of UAN production gone. Number two, China. They are typically about 10% of the global urea export marketplace, about 5.5 million ton. 2024 calendar year exports, about 250,000 ton. 5 million tons missing. Iran is currently offline. They're typically 4.8 million ton. Worries about Egyptian gas problems shutting off their production. So all of this comes together to sit there and show that the global nitrogen complex is extremely tightly supplied right now, and demand keeps rising. We're talking about our corn acres here. We started 25 at 92. Before I took off for Orlando with family, we moved at 95, 92 and a half. I wasn't gone a week and I came back to 93 and a half. Some people are saying 95, 96. So every additional corn acre is more demand. So we're talking a very tight supply situation. We're talking a rising demand situation. That's a recipe for higher pricing.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing that. With the rising corn anchor forecast driving up fertilizer demand right before spring, how should farmers prepare for potential price validity and supply chain challenges?
The conversation needs to be had with the local retailer, whoever your supplier is. And I don't care who that person is, but whoever you rely on for your product, need to be having that conversation sooner than later. Because to your point, raising it from 92 to an absolute stress case scenario of 96 in the first 30 to 45 days of the calendar year, we're running out of time. From a phosphate, potash, and hydrous perspective, we could be putting those on the field in March. That's not very far down the road. By the time the audience sees this, it's going to be a lot past us. So we need to be having these conversations sooner so that plans can be made. Nitrogen, your UAN, for a little bit of the urea. These folks, you think about it from a global scale, the U.S. imports over 5 million ton of urea a year to meet our demand. It doesn't show up overnight. It takes 30 days for a ship to load in the Middle East, arrive here to our shores, and be available. But even that's not available to the farmer. Now you're another 30 days to move this through the system to get it to the retailer and available to you. That's a 60-day lag. So again, having these communications with your supplier more often and earlier are key. The more information they know what your intentions are, the better suited they can be to be prepared for that next upcoming spring season or fall season.
Thank you for those insights. Can you talk about potash values and the outlook?
Yes, so potash values have been very, very low. Since the spike that we saw in early 2022, prices have been sliding and they just continued to slide until they got to very, very attractive levels. And that was attractive versus historical. That was attractive versus grains. And that was something we pushed a lot is if you buy your potash, sell some grain against it. That is an incredible value to lock in for the farmer. But now we're starting to see prices rise. manufacturers see that spring demand is rising. We had a good fall, we emptied the system, and now they're trying to get refilled. And then all this tariff confusion and fear has allowed them that platform to finally get a little bit of a toehold and start pushing those prices up. We have seen price ideas rising 25 plus dollars a ton, which in the scheme of things is only about 10% of what we've seen in the potash market, but it's still another price increase in a very large fertilizer bill for this spring season coming up. So we are seeing a little bit of short term strength. We do think things calm down once we get to later spring, summer. Unfortunately, those price movements don't help us for right now.
Gotcha. Thank you for that. And now we're going to be moving into our not to be corny section. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little dad joke. So, not to be corny, but why did the fertilizer get promoted?
I can't tell you.
Because it really knows how to stimulate growth.
Okay, well, I'm going to seal that for one of my updates this week.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh, for joining us here today and sharing your wide knowledge about what you do at StoneX and all that it comes with. So, thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.